try it. We're live. For the first time ever. I'm going to fix my camera.
Is it the first time?
Live? Probably.
First-ish.
Yeah.
I'm on there too, I assume. I don't see what you're seeing.
Well, because you're not on our YouTube channel. I posted a link to
I'm
it.
not going to go there right now. I've got my computer's doing enough things right now.
Yeah.
Not even.
And I'm going to pause
not
it
even
because it's going to
capable.
look really bad. Cool.
I am recording.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I want to open Discord and make sure everybody knows we're actually live now.
It's a real thing. We are live.
And we're live, probably.
From Echo Basement.
If I didn't goof it up, which, I mean, let's be honest.
Maybe. It's clean. Yep.
Yeah.
It's clean. There's no walls on the walls still, of course, but everything's put away. Good.
Cool. All right. So, we're live.
We're going to do a show.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Pull up the old notes.
All right.
Put my notes in front of your face. Oh no, I broke it.
What'd you break?
Me being a jackass, I was wiggling screens around, and Windows was like, "Oh, you want this one only to show up?" So then you got to see my nice wallpaper for a while.
Good.
It's only just plain black, so it was not a big deal, but it was funny.
A glimpse behind the scenes.
Yeah, to my very boring.
How the magic is made.
Yeah.
Mine is bad. I've got like a Rebel Alliance logo on my wallpaper right now, but like the rest of the screen is all black.
I assumed it was like Naruto or something.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I think we are set to actually do this thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. See, they get to see us like warming up to it, which is thrilling.
Tip of the tongue on the top of the T. Tip of the tongue on the top of the T.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
There you go.
All right. Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned in to Radio Free Tatooine's Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is John, a.k.a. the Uncanny Mr. H.
Hello.
And welcome to the program.
Yeah, and this is a historic night.
Is it a historic night or an historic night?
A historic night, because it is if it's a vowel sound. So if you say an historic,
I just wanted to start with a fight.
It's great. Yeah, we finally, I figured it out with help from friend of the show, Urzatron, how to get this to live stream and have both for a video on it. So we're going to live stream the show as we record it. And I'm going to gesticulate at least 4 times as much now.
Oh, good.
And we're also recording audio. So if you're listening to this in podcast form, you have heard it roughly several hours after we recorded it, which is normal, except now if you wanted to watch it on YouTube, you can.
Yeah.
I suppose we could like tweet out a link to it eventually
with all the burps and farts included.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really edit it much, if at all.
No.
So you're not going to get the cool live like territory mastery riffs if we have one, that kind of thing, but
yeah.
Yeah, so if you're desperate to get in on the action right away, and we'll probably make this better as I learn what I'm doing. If I learn what I'm doing.
If you learn what you're doing. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. If you don't care to watch it with the live stream and or our ugly faces, then you will notice nothing different.
Yeah. So, early access, you get most of the show, just no theme music, which is really arguably the best part because it's me on guitars.
I'm not in it, so
yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about this video game here, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, right?
No, I mean, nothing important happened this week.
No, it's pretty weak subject matter here. We're going to be talking about Revan, Darth Revan, or as John, you have dubbed him,
Dr. Evan.
Dr. Evan.
Although I don't,
which I like.
I did not come up with that. I don't remember where I saw that. So I will not take credit, but instead of being D. Revan or Darth Revan, it is Dr. Evan.
I'm good with it. I like it. When you started saying it, I thought you meant Dr. Evazan or Evazan or whatever.
Oh, yeah, no.
Ponda Baba's sidekick. And then I looked at it again. And I was like, no, I see what he's doing. He's Johning.
I'm a verb. I made it.
He's Her Majesty's falconing this thing is what he's doing. So, yeah, actually, before we get into any details about the game, we're going to be talking about that. We'll talk about HK as well because he's newsworthy this week.
Yeah.
HK 47. But also, I want to talk a little bit about Star Wars Celebration. So we're going to be, as a reminder, your weekly reminder, Monday, April 15th at noon is when we will be on the podcast stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Monday of the show. And there's kind of a feeling of WTF going on Twitter anyways, of like Star Wars Celebration's schedule.
Yeah.
We still do not have a schedule. Like we know when we're going on, and that's great. But as far as when these panels are going to be going on, very few of these details have been released. And so we're kind of at the mercy of Celebration to see what we're going to be up against, you know?
I suspect that our fans are so rabid that they will be, pounding down the doors to get in to see us instead of,
they're not rabid fans in that they love our show. It's more of they hang out in dark alleys and have been bitten by stray dogs and are now actually rabid fans.
And I know they're definitely going to release the biggest information of the con roughly 3 hours before it ends. So that's the joke. We're not going to be up against anything big. I can't imagine.
Yeah. No,
full of Sith might be in trouble, but we're fine.
Why are they?
They're like on Saturday afternoon, I think.
Well, so I mean, traditionally, the first day of Celebration, the opening ceremonies are when you get the big thing. That's when a trailer's going to drop. That's the Episode 9 panel. That's the big one, right? The Mandalorian has a panel, and I believe it's Saturday.
Yeah.
Like all the big ones, we are noon to 1-ish. And I think at 1 o'clock or 1:30 is the Star Wars Resistance panel.
Oh, okay. So
that's, and the way they're doing panels this year is different too. So you have like a lottery that you register for instead of waiting in line for we're still working out what that means for the podcast stage. We're in communication with the organizers to see exactly how that works. I can't imagine there's going to be more than 10,000 people waiting to see us, but
I have to imagine.
No, actually, our
room
seats
other stages
like 200. So yeah, but still, it's something that we are figuring out.
Yeah, and as of this afternoon,
as we go,
we're still a go to have a guest from CG. I don't know who, and again, that can change because
I hope it's the guy. What's his name? The guy that's on the laptop. The one laptop that Capital Games has.
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
He's a meme from their careers page or something, where it shows like this like clip art of people in the studio, and they're all surrounding one laptop, like doing work.
Yeah.
And so like it's this joke that Capital Games does all this work on one laptop, and that guy his name's like Chet or something. Like he's an obscure Galaxy of Heroes meme. But anyways,
how could I possibly have missed out on that dankest of Galaxy of Heroes?
I don't know. That sounds like something that would be your kind of jam.
That's fair. Yeah, no, I mean, we've been to the studio, and I don't recall seeing a single laptop, but I wasn't really paying that close of attention.
They probably hid it. They locked it in the bureau.
It's got all the work. It's got all the work on it.
Oh boy. So
I can't hide my yawning now when we're on video.
Keep that going. We're also looking at hopefully we've got a couple things we're working on, but having some merch a little bit, some swag, because we know y'all love the swag. We'll have something.
I don't know how we know that.
Yeah,
but
we'll have something. I've already got some swag from events past. So we'll have something, but we're working on a little bit more. And then I did want to tip my hat to all of our new patrons. We have more and more patrons signing up, and that is awesome. That means a lot to us, and it helps us out tremendously, because we can do things like Star Wars Celebration. So if you like the show and you think that we're providing a good service for the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes community,
I'd settle for
a great way to show that is a service. We're not a net loss for the community. Give us some money.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can donate for $1, and that gets you into our Discord. So I almost said that gets you into our Discord for free. Yeah, after you give us $1. But that gets you into the Discord. You can join the conversation. From there, there's a $5 level, a $10 level, and a $20. At the $10 level, you get to hang out with us and chat before the show. So not just watch us on YouTube and think, man, I bet they are so fun to chat with. You can actually chat with us. So anyways, yeah, thank you so much to all of our patrons. You guys are the best. March Madness. It's been a really light week for me.
Yeah.
I got a couple of decent mods today. I think I got a speed of 12 and a speed of 8. And the other secondaries were all right. One of them had a decent offense, but not anything to write home about. I didn't exactly screenshot any of the mods I pulled this week. So
I didn't have a lot of luck mod. I didn't get a chance to do much because I feel like now that I burned through my cache of mod mats, I just can't keep up with how much I want to slice.
Yeah. Pretty much switched over to only, at this point anyways, only slicing gold mods into 6E. That's what I've been working on. It's such a task that you'll never complete. It's slicing all those mods, you know what I mean? So
right.
I'm just trying to do the biggest, most impactful slices that I can. So, all right, let's talk about this. Where do we start? Let's start with the new tag. The Sith Empire is now a tag in the game, or will be when the update goes through. This is a tag that really is kind of coming into play for a couple reasons, most prominently because of Darth Revan. It's a mechanic that Darth Revan's kit will be interacting with a lot. And it also is kind of a lore thing in the same way that Old Republic was introduced as a lore tag. That if you've played the Knights of the Old Republic games or even the Old Republic, you know that Sith as we know them in the Star Wars saga films it's the rule of two. There's always a master and an apprentice, and they're dark side force users, powerful in the dark side, you know. And that's what the Sith are. But in the Old Republic, the Sith is like the Empire. It's an organization, and it's really, I mean, even before the kind of canon reset, it's really hard to nail down exactly what that means, because it at one point was an alien race,
right?
But that alien race, I believe, died out, and the Sith are actually like a group of like-minded individuals who kind of uphold the ideals of that civilization. It doesn't matter a whole lot where it starts. The point is that at the point of the Old Republic, the enemies were the Sith Empire, and you could be in the Sith Empire and not have any Force abilities whatsoever. Just be a guy with a silver suit and a vibro sword, and suddenly you're.
It's amazing how long it takes you to find anybody with a lightsaber that they're willing to drop.
Yeah, that was one of my complaints the first time I played Knights of the Old Republic. I was like, these guys just have metal swords.
Vibro swords?
And that's weird.
Vibro swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's all fine and that's all dandy, but I don't think that's really the function of why it's in the game now.
No, that's just a lore explanation.
No.
Kind of
what it is it's a balancing act.
It is.
It's a balancing act. Jedi Knight Revan affects other Jedi because they needed a bit of a buff, right?
Sure.
Darth Revan.
But yeah, it's not like they were running wild on the arena.
No, I mean Bastila was good, but not great.
Yeah.
Sith. If Darth Revan's kit affected Sith instead of Sith Empire specifically, the balance implications I think would have been too bananas, right? So this is a good balancing tool. I think that it's going to help a little bit with the power creep, which obviously, any game has it. So there are several characters who are getting the Sith Empire tag, and that's Fallen Bastila, HK-47, and then the three Sith characters: Sith Assassin, Sith Marauder, and Sith Trooper. And that's all for now. I assume if/when they get around to releasing Darth Malak, he'll have it too.
Yeah.
So that's fine. It's a little micro faction. All of those characters also have Sith, except HK-47. So it doesn't
currently they do.
I think they would have mentioned.
But are they all keeping it?
They would have mentioned if they were stripping that, right?
Doubt they're keeping it.
Really?
We were talking about that before the show started with some of our patrons. While you were off gallivanting around and setting up this stream, we were talking about that. Like, it would make sense to me from just thinking of this from a lore perspective, right? Starting with the lore perspective, it would make sense that Sith Trooper, for instance, would not have a Sith tag. He would have a Sith Empire tag, but he's just a guy with a gun who works for the Sith Empire. So I mean, I can see this being something where they would replace the Sith tag with Sith Empire on some of these characters.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Not that that matters one way or the other, but I think the one they would have mentioned it, because if you just strip out people's tags, I mean, that's going to be a bit of a hullabaloo.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, Revan gets to keep Sith and Sith Empire.
Right.
So I mean, I get he's a Force user, so I understand what you're saying. That he's not a random goon with a gun like Sith Trooper is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think they're going to do it though.
And maybe they won't. That was my impression when I first read this information, was that they were going to be Sith Empire instead of Sith. Now, looking at the official release, I'm not seeing that that's the case, but Yeah, that would be a shakeup. Like Sith Marauder, who cares? Because no one uses him for anything anywhere, right? But
Assassin
Sith Assassin,
she gets some work, yeah.
She gets a little work, and Sith Trooper gets a lot of work on a Traya team. So I'm thinking if he were to lose the Sith tag, that would be pretty significant. So yeah, I guess we will see what that holds. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it's probably, you're right. Like they're not.
Only because they did specifically say that they're taking away the Old Republic faction from fallen Bastila.
Right, and that's the thing that I noticed as we were talking about it, that leads me to believe that they are not taking this away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they are taking away Old Republic from Bastila. So,
and there are other changes. Obviously, HK is getting a rework, which we should at least review a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't really need to go over it word for word because everybody has seen it. Do you have any kind of impressions about it? Obviously, we know they changed the leadership. That's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so they did. They changed the leadership completely, right? And so they have announced that they are going to be refunding any ability mats that were spent on
a couple
his
of
leadership
ability. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
So that's cool. I mean, yeah, that is a good thing. I think the kit looks good. It looks like he's going to be fun to play under a Darth Revan team.
Boo.
Exclusively, right? I mean, like, that's the only place I really see him fitting in.
Yes and no.
And to me, it looks good and it fits the character. It's just, I guess, sad for a couple reasons. One, that like he's a droid that doesn't play well with other droids.
Why not?
Really? Well, I mean, I guess he can play on a droid team, but what does he doesn't have a whole lot of interactions that would
He has
matter.
Literally the best droid leader ability. It's only one of two, and as I've mentioned, I think General Grievous's leader ability is not good.
Yeah.
I think that's really where part of it is too. I don't know how much judgment we can pass on this kit until we see whether or if they adjust any of the stats. Like if his damage on any of these abilities don't go up at all from what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's trash, and he's super slow. He's like base like 95 speed.
Is he really?
He's really bad.
It's been so long since I've dusted him off for anything.
Well,
man,
because this whole thing is like his leader ability is the only reason to use him. You know, sorry, his base speed is 115.
His speed didn't matter because you would gain 100% turn meter all the time. You know,
whenever you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically beforehand, or currently rather, because I haven't put the change through yet, droid allies get 30% critical chance and 50% turn meter on a critical hit, which is bonkers.
Mm-hmm. 50%. Yeah, I was thinking it was 100, but you're right.
No, so, yeah, but you mean, yeah. So they changed it. Now it's going to be that droid allies get plus 30% critical chance, plus 20% critical damage, and gain 10% turn meter on a critical hit. I would have rather see it not drop from 50 to 10.
Yeah.
But it's a good leader ability. It's still the best one we have for droids. Sad but true.
It's just, like, people already were not using him for droids, so I can't imagine.
Well, nobody ran droids.
Really gonna rock. Well, I mean, like with the Grievous rework and all the new droids, like there's some fun to be had with droids, and I don't know that he brings enough to the table to really.
So some of his stuff, like
that.
I think the real shame is that he's losing the ability called Meatbag Mayhem, which I believe effectively is going to be Havoc, is what they call it now. I mean, his basic is request, die, Meatbag, which is great. Don't get me wrong. but Meatbag Mayhem just had a certain ring to it.
It did. It really did.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ability names in the game.
Yeah. So a lot of it is too. He actually has some anti-Jedi abilities now, which is great. His AOE, which I mentioned, Havoc, deals 20% more damage for each Jedi, and it can't be countered. So, sorry about your retribution, I guess. So yeah, and it deals true damage, ignoring defense. So, but it can't crit, which means all that juicy turn meter he would gain from that, from his own leader ability, ain't gonna happen. So that's good. I like that. The idea of being good against Jedi is exactly what he's supposed to do. Now here's the thing. His other one, Assassination Protocol, it's great. Dispel all buffs, deals a bunch of physical damage, can't be evaded, and deals double damage against Jedi. If they have Deathmark or Fear, the cooldown is reset. Now, functionally, the only way you're going to have Deathmark or Fear on somebody is if you're running him behind Revan.
Correct.
So that's step one problem for me, because I'm not going to have Darth Revan, and I don't really want to. We mentioned his leader. He does his resurrection ability, which is called Reconstruction. He has a 75% chance to revive with 30% health the first time he's defeated. Unreliable and kind of wonky. The new one, which does require Zeta, called Self-Reconstruction. Whenever a buff expires on an enemy, he gets back 5% health and protection. That seems great, especially if you're dispelling a lot with a B2 behind him, just mowing down debuffs all the time, or mowing down buffs. Also, when he uses an ability, it deals 20% more damage if they have Deathmark or Fear. Strike 2 always has to be behind Darth Revan to deal that extra damage.
Yep.
And this is his new unique.
Or a Gamorrean guard.
Yeah, or I guess technically a Death Trooper.
Or a Death Trooper.
Real feel the synergies there.
Right.
Loyalty to the Maker, referring to Darth Revan. If he's behind a Revan lead, he gets plus 50% defense, offense, potency, and tenacity. Plus 30% critical avoidance for each Jedi enemy. His Assassination Protocol is reset the first time another Sith Empire ally is defeated, and enemies with protection up can't gain bonus turn meter. That is nuts. That all he has to do is be behind Darth Revan for him to get all that. And while he can have uses outside of that, I believe, again, depending on what the actual stats are going to be, I feel like that just forces him so much into that role.
Yeah.
And we're desperate for a good droid leader, and Grievous just isn't it, man.
Yeah. No, he's not.
So I don't know. I mean, I already have this fool at the Gear 12, so I'm going to slap him in there and give it a try when the rework is done. But I'm having good success against Revan with my droids right now, so I don't know. We'll have to see how hard Darth Revan hits the scene, too, in the arena.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a... I don't know. It is sad that he's like so dependent on Revan, because he could have done interesting things with an Old Republic tag, as far as like working on a Karth team. That would have been cool. I mean, Karth is not by any means meta, but he could be, could have been kind of interesting, but that Karth team will just stay exactly where it is, and that is in the Grand Arena.
Well, this is the third release, effectively, of a droid character in the last couple of months that doesn't do anything to actually make a good droid team. Because, Grievous, his leader ability doesn't affect it at all. Yeah. C-3PO doesn't interact with droids in the slightest. And his leadership ability is objectively worse. Now, whether or not it's bad, obviously that's, I'll wait and see on that. But it's irritating because we have all these great pieces to do cool things with droids, and I feel like we're just one piece away, you know. And I was really hoping
Dr.
this rework
Afra. That's the one piece that we need.
If we get Dr. Afra
and her 000 and
BT.
BT, yes. I kept wanting to say B2, and no, it's not a BT.
It's not a B2.
BT, yeah.
So, I mean,
that would be amazing.
I'm not like really mad about it because, you know, it's not like I've been desperate to have HK be good. I gear 12 him forever ago because I'm a dummy.
Yeah, it's not with any expectation of a payoff.
No. Never forget my first gear 12 was Plo Koon. So
yeah.
It's just disappointing because I have invested a lot in droids at this point, and I'm just like, at some point it's got to pay off, right?
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. I mean, I've been really working the droid angle with Grievous and paying some dividends. But nothing crazy yet.
Yeah.
So there was another kit that came out, though. I don't know if you heard about it.
Dr. Evan?
Dr. Evan.
That guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we head into that, I do want to touch on just for a second here that they said they were refunding that, right? They did also announce that something regarding Zeta Finn, because we're getting a refund on HK, but people are like, all right, well, what's going on with Finn? The short answer is we don't know. They're still working on that. They proposed some changes. They apparently have determined that even with those proposed changes to him, there's still a weird loop that can happen. So they're not saying that you will or will not get a refund on Finn.
If and
because
when
they don't know exactly what they're going to do to Finn. So for now, you can just keep soloing the tank with your Finn team. And that's fine by me.
Yeah,
we'll keep doing. Yeah, but okay, so let's talk about this dark side master, Darth Revan.
And so again, I don't think we really need to go super hard at reading the kit. But what's interesting is it kind of as a whole is it focuses on him being the leader, him killing the enemy leader, and this new mechanic called ferocity. So basically he stacks up on his own people a debuff it counts as called ferocity, which gives them minus 15% defense and tenacity per stack, but also 8% offense and potency per stack. So effectively,
I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's making them weaker or less defensible, but they're going to start hitting real hard.
This is the Suicide Black deck in Magic the Gathering, like where you're killing yourself, but you're killing the opponent faster.
Hypothetically, I'm really good. This is kind of a different type of, mechanic, and I like it because it's interesting. It's different. I will like it less if I'm getting one shot constantly, but until we really see it in action, I can't really speak to that.
I have a feeling my jaw's just gonna drop the first time I go up against a Darth Revan team.
Yeah.
Well, that happened.
But that's kind of where it's interesting with the Sith Empire being the limiting factor. For instance, his first special Force Storm, which only has a 3-turn cooldown, deals special damage and shocks everybody for 2 turns. And then all Sith Empire allies gain 5 stacks of ferocity for 2 turns.
Too much ferocity.
Right. But it's only Sith Empire allies.
Right. Which will be the whole team. I mean,
well, not necessarily.
Like crazy to not use Sith Empire with this.
Marauder's not getting a rework.
Okay, bench him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to bench one.
Bastila, Trooper, Assassin, and HK.
Yeah, with those Revan buffs for HK. So that's great. Insanity is another one that he's got. You can deal special damage and inflict fear on them and the enemy leader, on a single target and the enemy leader. Or
I do want to point out first with Force Storm, the ferocity, you're getting all those bonuses per stack.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So keep in mind that when he drops 5 stacks of ferocity, that's going to be really, really big.
And it's not just going to be only 4 or 5 stacks, rather, because he's going to drop more in a minute.
Yeah, and that's tallying up debuffs also. So just okay. So let's go on.
Yeah.
Special 2.
With the insanity, if the target is the leader or if the leader is defeated, it inflicts fear on all enemies instead. So again, it wants to target the leader, or if you already killed the leader, it just gets everybody.
Yeah, and that cannot be prevented in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, cannot be copied, dispelled, or resisted, and it cannot be evaded. So, sorry about your luck. You're going to be scared. Lord of the Sith is his leader. It's got a Zeta on it. Sith Empire allies are immune to turn meter reduction while they're debuffed, which they're going to be.
Always.
Yeah. And 10% critical chance and 15 speed for each of their own debuffs. So when he drops 5 stacks of ferocity on him, that's 75 speed.
Yeah.
And then at the start of each Sith Empire ally's turn, they gain 5 stacks of ferocity for 2 turns. So they're going to be going progressively faster and hitting progressively harder. On top of that, if everybody's a Sith Empire character, they all have plus 50% critical damage. Woof. At the end of each turn, if an enemy falls below 50% health, the leader gets Death Mark.
Please note, this is a leader ability, not a unique. So it's not like you could kill him and this stops affecting things. There's no way out of this. This just happens.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to hide your leader, basically, is what it comes down to. Which, as I can tell you, by constantly being marked against Jedi Revan, it sucks. Not being able to hide people. Let's see. Conquer, first unique. Darth Revan has plus 100% defense pen. Cool. Each Sith Empire at the beginning of their turn, they dispel all foresight on all enemies, which cannot be evaded. So, sorry, Jedi. No foresight for you. If you try...
like, you were already having problems with evading as of Darth Revan, but this makes it official.
If a Sith Empire is inflicted with ability block or stun, they dispel it and instead gain ferocity for 2 turns. On top of that, enemies can't assist or gain bonus moves if their attack is targeting Darth Revan. So, Kenobi wants to call his whole team over? Nope.
CLS is dead. Like, my Rebels team is dead.
Only if it targets Darth Revan.
Yeah, but no, I'm hosed.
To be fair,
there's no way.
You've had a good run with CLS as your arena team. I mean, like a year, Sean. It's been a year.
But it's not like I've been topping the arena either.
I'm just saying. I'm a dummy, and I've had like 3 arena teams since then. His last unique villain, when Darth Revan uses an ability, if the target already has Death Mark, Fear, or Corrupted Battle Meditation, he just hits him with his basic Lacerate. Cool. When Fear expires an enemy, they dispel all buffs on themselves. And then, of course, when Darth Revan's health falls below 50%, it is equalized with the next healthiest ally. Not as good as Savior, obviously. But I think that the miscellaneous parts that were, if they're already with one of the special debuffs, he just smacks them with his basic. They're going to be dispelling buffs on themselves. I don't know. Like this kit is pretty dense, no question. It doesn't require a roadmap like Jedi Revan does.
No, not to get the kit, but I feel like battles are going to be a hot mess. Keeping track of what's actually going on with all the bonus offense, potency, speed, all the
here, I'll break it down for
ferocity all over the place.
They're gonna hit hard.
And fast. I'm picturing, and I could be wrong here, but I don't think I am. I'm picturing like, mythic events where like it doesn't matter what you bring in, one or two of your characters are going to die before you take a turn.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing with the speed levels going on here. Well, it's scary.
Here's the thing that I think is kind of bonkers. When somebody has a buff like, oh, it's really good, I got to keep them from getting, you can ability block them, you can cleanse it, you can buff block them. You can't stop them from getting ferocity.
Exactly. You would have to cleanse them.
Which you can't. There's literally nothing in the game that can do that. It's a debuff.
Right.
You can't stop them from getting mad at you.
I suppose you could with Boba Fett. He can remove.
Because it removes all buffs and debuffs, I suppose. Okay.
Consumes all buffs and debuffs. Yeah, but
there's one other that does that too.
Why don't you try that? See how that works.
I don't know, man. If they're sitting there with 15 stacks of ferocity on them, I mean, that may not be a bad idea.
It's something.
It's not a great idea, but it's an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's going to hit hard. So I kind of like it. I mean, I'm never going to get this character. Ever.
Yeah. Ever. I mean, let's 2028. You'll be like, I think I'm almost ready.
Let's play it straight. I ain't ever going to get Darth Revan. But I feel like I understand this kit. Whereas with Jedi Revan, I fight him in arena all the time, and I'm still like, I have a vague idea of what's happening.
Yeah. No, I don't really know his kit. I've got it figured out enough to beat it.
Sure.
And that's
all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. So
now this, we'll see if I can figure out a way to beat it.
Yeah, see, what's your kind of your just overall? I mean, because you're not going to get Darth Revan this time around either, I assume.
Oh, no.
Because you don't even have Jedi Revan yet, do you?
No.
Are you going for him?
For Jedi Revan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working.
I thought you were close.
I think next time he rolls around, I'll probably have him. But yeah, I'm of two minds here. I mean, I feel like I always am a big fan of simplicity. I like simple kits. This ain't that. It's the same initial feeling I had with Jedi Knight Revan, not knowing what it would be like to play as him or against him. I just read the kit and thought, it's just too much. It's just, there's a lot going on, and I feel like it's just a little overwhelming.
Sure.
I know that's the direction the game's moving, and I don't know that there's anything to be done about it, but
it's not just it's what can you do about it though, right? Like, simplicity tends to run out when there's so much of it, right? When there's so many characters, you it's hard to have simplicity without duplication.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I mean.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what to do about it, but I think
this is as complicated as I like a kit to be. Like, I get it. He stacks up ferocity on his allies, right?
Yeah.
He wants to hurt the other leader. But then
I feel like it's a bit of a gut punch at times too, where, like, for instance, as someone who plays a Luke Skywalker team, I look at the kit and I'm like, oh, you can't do this.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Oh, they can't be affected by that. Oh, okay, cool. So like all the tricks I have up my sleeve, and I understand like a new character should come into the meta and have a role there. But when you read over the kit and you're just like, oh, I see. So this is like specifically designed so that I lose matches. Like that's a little hard to swallow sometimes.
I feel like I mean, I said it in jest when I was talking in the Game Changer Discord a couple days ago. When I said that the key to staying happy in this game is to be bad at it.
Yeah.
When you don't have the expectation that you're going to be the best at it, it's much easier to swallow. Like, man, I'm just going to lose against this character.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah. That's a balancing act for me, but it's certainly, I don't have the competitive nature to be like I have to be number one every day.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not like that, but I feel like I do have some competitive nature, and I mean, I think that's a big part of this game for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, everyone has different things that kind of pull them into this game. It's the competitive bit, the strategic bit, the collection bit, all sorts of different hooks. But I mean, from a competitive standpoint, I look at it like, yeah, all right, if he's stronger than me, then that's cool. But when it's just you're reading down the kit and it's like this ability shuts you down, this ability shuts you down, and you're like, okay, well,
see, maybe it's because I've always been so far behind.
I guess I shouldn't be in the arena.
Well, with legendaries and heroes journeys, I've been so far behind on all of them. I guess it's just not new to me.
Well, it's
when one of these characters comes out, you got CLS when you first came out, you got Ray J when you first get. Like, I'm used to just getting hosed by these legendary characters and having no answer to it.
I feel like it's gotten. It has changed though, because yes, I got Luke the first time he came out. I got Rey the first time she came out, and like, okay, so I missed the boat with Revan, but this is a long time coming because when Chewie came out, I got him at 5 stars, I think, or something.
Sure.
And when Revan came out, I didn't get him. He came out a second time and didn't get him. Falcon comes out, I got it at 5 stars, and I had to spend some cash to do it. And it's a cycle that I've fallen into, that I've mentioned before, that it's kind of like you're used to working just hard enough to like, all right, I'm keeping up, but I've fallen behind.
Sure.
And once you fall behind, you're gonna stay behind. And so that's why when this came out, I was like, I'm not panic farming. I'm just the guy that doesn't get this,
Yeah, I mean, you can't ever catch up in this game. You just have to hope to be ahead of the curve when it turns again.
Well, you can. It costs you some loot.
Sure.
I mean, like that's the way to
for
catch
the
up,
average player, you're not gonna catch up. You know what I mean? Like, you can be part of the middle of the pack, but to really reclaim the top, you kind of have to either anticipate it or, like I said, be willing to put the money into it.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
if you saw these Old Republic characters and the coming out, and you were like, well, these are the ones I'm going to need for this event, and you started grinding them right away and dropped everything else, you're going to be ready.
Yeah. And I should stipulate that I don't expect to be able to run a Commander Luke team forever and dominate arena. It's not that. And so I realize it probably comes off like that. It's just I don't know. It's a little disappointing when you see it so transparently baked into someone's kit that it's like, oh, this is here to make sure that I stop winning. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
geez, I just really don't. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, but I have no answer to any of the metas.
No reference there. Yeah.
Like, I don't have the feeling of, oh man, this is gonna stop me from what. I don't have that I've been being super successful with it, except for my Night Sisters on their brief run.
I've been on a roll lately, so this, like, I've been increasing, as I get my mods, more and more of them sliced up and fine tuned, and I've been slowly rising a little bit in arena to where I'm like, I could maybe, if I really focus here, I could crack top 10, see what I'm made of. And then you see this and you're like, no, I can't.
I saw you today in arena, so I can tell you how that was going.
Sure. Yeah. So, anyways, I feel like I got on a real dark turn there, but the dark side consumed me. What can I say?
It'll do that.
Yeah. So it's coming. When is the event coming? That's a good question. We don't know exactly. We thought it would be out this week. Seems it is not going to be the case. They have delayed it until next week, hopefully as soon as possible next week, so they can kind of test some things out this weekend and hopefully have it out Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Now, worth noting, they in the past would push a content update and your game would update and you wouldn't notice anything. It would be downloading data.
Right.
It's basically just creating the character in your game. You can't unlock it yet, but it's there. That's not going to be the case with this. They're going to push it all out in one. So when your game, it's going to be live. So if you open up the game and it starts downloading something, you should be very excited. If you're someone who can compete in such a thing. I will be terrified as soon as I see the download. No.
Yeah, we were talking about it with the officers today, like before we knew that the event was pushed back. Like, are we going to see Darth Revan in this territory war? Is it going to get released before lock? For the
boy,
like, we have to face a wall of that, and thankfully we don't have to deal with it this time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So if anything, this transitions nicely into talk about a topic that's very dear to me, which is grinded.
Ooh.
I'm kind of straightening things up in my roster. Not so much working on things like the First Order and obscure kind of territory war teams, but really just kind of looking at it strategically and going after good characters.
I mean, you got to have a plan for your arena. I mean, like you said, you're gonna have to pivot. You're gonna have to pivot.
I don't think any of the stuff I have is gonna work. I think it's gonna be light side Revan versus dark side Revan, and that's gonna be your meta disruption, which, to be fair, is much better than what we have right now.
Oh yeah.
So, that's not a knock there, because that's going to be an improvement. But I've been working on my Sith, because I don't think a Traya team is going to be the answer, but it's one that I definitely am going to be needing to have in Grand Arena. Man, I lost the last round of Grand Arena because I got to the point where I just didn't have that one extra team, and I need to tune that up. And then I'm working on the Jedi Knight Revan team. Those are my two big things. I'm finishing up Jolie and Bastila, and so that I can actually get the guy. Focusing on that. I feel like that's still going to be a sound investment, even in the Darth Revan era. And then I'll move on to the Darth Revan stuff. But I'm working on the last two metas, basically, Traya and the Revan squad. I will say, one fun thing, I just started on the Zeta investment because I don't stockpile Zetas. I just spend them as I get them. I threw a Zeta on Treya's leadership, so that's done now. But in gearing stuff up, I kind of I needed a stun gun to get her up to gear 10, I think. And I meant to do that, but then I was like looking around and I was like, well, Palpatine is one gear piece away from 12.
Sure.
So that's like, the satisfaction that comes with that. So, all right. It was a piece that needed a stun gun and like I needed one more gold eyeball or something, So I'm like, all right, let's do this. And I slapped it on him and boom, he's gear 12. And I had 2 gear 12 pieces sitting there waiting for him. That feels amazing. I love that. So yeah, Palpatine got a shot in the arm today, and now it's just the triumvirate. They're my babies now, my ugly little babies. But that's me. Who are you grinding?
Well, I've got like 40 out of 100 for Finn. As I work towards maybe unlocking Ray J next time she comes around.
So I'm 2 metas behind, and you are working on someone who's about to get nerfed.
Oh yeah, but Finn's a means to an end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. He's worth it. He's worth it.
Like I said, I somehow had him at like somehow only at 4 or 5 stars 3 years in. I've been gearing Zalbar and Mission. I have them both at gear 11 and change. Because they're good. I like their kits a lot. And I'm only 1 droid away from having them all the ones who can be at gear 12, and that's K2SO. I got Chopper to gear 12 this last week. I've had General Grievous on my favorite list since the rework, actually a little before. And he's 1 piece away from being maxed out, and it's whatever the giant med pack is that requires all kinds of raid gear. And I've been literally for like a month since the rework. I just can't have been that long. 3 weeks. I can't get this drop, and there's nothing I can do about it. I need like 15 of them.
I could be wrong. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that only drops if you get like one of the top spots in the raid.
Well, that's not going to happen though, Sean.
I know. I'm in the same spot.
Somehow I have some already.
Characters that need that, and I just I can't get it.
I don't know where I got
and I'm trying to think of how I got mine. Well, I used to get good spots in the Sith raid. I never got first, but
but I didn't.
I think I used to get some good spots.
So all I can think of is like you can buy them with crystals too, and I mean that'll probably end up being the way I do it eventually. Because it's a lot of health, and that's what I need with Grievous. But I don't know. We'll see how things shake out after Dr. Evan lands. That's most of what I've been working on, gearing up my droids, scoundrels. Yeah, that's about it. Really, it hasn't been a lot of variety for me. I've been pretty hyper focused on stuff, for better or worse. Because my miscellaneous droid teams and scoundrel teams have served me well in Territory Wars and Grand Arena, which is the only place I really am competitive. I mean, Arena I do, depending, but since Revan launched, it's been bad. But with my Grievous, I was right around 100 today. I had it once. I think I've kind of sorted a lot of it out. So I'm going to see how far I can climb tomorrow, potentially with a refresh, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things
all right. That is all we've got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend HK-47's leader ability. Galactic War Report is brought to you by Radio Free Tatooine and our Patreon supporters, like the Draconian Order. As always, we are thankful to all of you. To see the full lineup of shows, head to radiofreetatooine.com. We thank you for listening, and if you like what you hear, please show your support with a rating and a review. through your podcast medium of choice, or consider supporting the show at Patreon. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.
That's the end of the podcast. And now we're going to sign off on this here live stream too.
Indeed.
So, hope it didn't suck.
Buenos noches.